Hey everybody, welcome back to Oh God, Not Another Review Show. Today we're looking at one of, if not the most controversial horror movies to come out in the last few years, Skinamarink. Skinamarink, outside of being a very fun word to say, Skinamarink was released in the summer of 2022 and comes from the mind of Kyle Edward Ball. What I can tell from a cursory Google search, he hasn't done anything else on the writing and directing side of things, but it does look like he was an associate producer on a few projects that came out this year, which does say something. It means he's good at what he does. It also looks like he made a short back in 2020 called Heck. Okay. Which, judging by a quick synopsis, seems like the progenitor of Skinamarink. Progenitor is also a very fun word to say. As I said earlier in the review, this is one of the most controversial movies of the past few years. It's either you absolutely love the movie, or you absolutely hate it. There is no in-between here. There is no gray area. It's either or. No in-betweens. My expectations going into this? Boring, slow-paced, too dark visually, just confusing. Kind of a generalized thing when I see some photos and some screenshots from the movie. My hopes, tense, dramatic, uses shadows well. You can get a lot of mileage by hiding something just barely visible in the darkness. Don't point it out. Let me go like, oh God, what is that? Oh Jesus. That's how it works really well. With that said, here's your spoiler warning, and let's get into Skinamarink. Still fun to say. Okay, so I just got done watching Skinamarink 24 hours ago. Normally I watch the movie I'm going to do a review on and then immediately talk about it after watching it. That way it's fresh in my mind and it's an easier process. That's why I start every post-intro section with, okay, so I just got done watching, because I literally did just get done watching the movie I'm about to talk about. This one is different. This is a different beast, because I don't know how to review this movie. This is my 5th time sitting down in the past 24 hours or so, trying to think of a way to be like, how do I go through this? Because there's not a lot to talk about. That's not a bad thing, mind you. Let's start with reviewing my hopes and expectations, and we'll go from there. This might be the shortest review I've ever done, right? Because I have an idea of how to go through this. Let's just look at what I thought was going to happen, what I hoped was going to happen, right? Let's just go there, and that's a good place to start. And hopefully I can fail upwards into a review somehow, right? My expectations: boring, too slow-paced, too dark, visually at least, and just confusing. I'll say I was correct on 2 of them, half of them. I was correct on half of them. We'll leave it at that right there. My hopes were tense, dramatic, uses shadows well. 1.5 out of that one. So technically half on both. We're hitting good for this one, right? Boring. I didn't think the movie was boring, although I can see why people would think it was boring. After I got done watching it, I went, oh, okay. That was a movie I watched. And then I looked at the Shudder reviews, because that's what I was watching it on, and they have reviews right on there. You can watch it there. It's not sponsored again. I gotta put that out there. Hashtag not spawn. Unless Joe Bob Briggs wants to give me that male woman's number. There's a joke in there about my package, but I think we'll leave that on the cutting room floor. And the awkward silence is good. A lot of the reviews were either A, oh my God, the atmosphere was so good, I loved it, or bro, this movie is the most boring movie that's ever boring movied. As I said in the intro, it's you either love it or you hate it. There is no in-between here. I could see why people think it's boring. A lot of the stuff that I'm probably gonna leave out on the cutting room floor, like that joke I just said moments ago. And enough time has passed for that acknowledgement. I don't know why I'm doing that as a running joke. It's hot takes here. It's fine. A lot of the stuff that I took notes on doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. It's this thing happens. We go through some static shots. I say they're static shots, but it's moving image, but it's a fixed shot, I guess we'll say, on something happening. And then there's like noise in the background, and you go, oh, okay, something's happening in the scene. We don't get to see it though. And then that all leads up for a little bit, and then another major moment happens. You go, oh shit, that was awesome, and then it repeats, right? So, well, let's just go into... I hit my keyboard. Ouch. I don't know if that picked up on the microphone, but I'll acknowledge it anyway, just in case it did. Let's move on to too slow-paced. It's not too slow-paced. It is slow-paced, but deliberately. I wrote in my notes, something, 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 Paranormal Activity, which 2 Ognar episodes in a row, we mentioned Paranormal Activity. Dope. Will I review those? Y'all got another one cooked up your sleeve? Because I don't think I watched, like, the last 3 of them. I legit don't remember which ones. I watched the first 3. I don't remember about anything after that. So, this is not a tease for an upcoming one, but maybe. But it paced similar to Paranormal Activity, where, again, we would get these fixed camera angles of, toys on the ground, like Lego bricks, buildings that they've made, these children have made on the ground. And you just... Actually, no, that's a bad example. That's a bad example. There is... Well, I'll get to it because it is a major moment. And it's a good moment, too. Where... It's just... holding... It's a POV shot. I'm debating in my head whether I should say it here, that way... I'll truncate it, I'll abridge it, and then we'll go into it, right? That way I can show you the full footage, because it's a very good scene. But a kid walks in the room, she's staring at the ceiling, and slow panning across the ceiling to something hanging on the ceiling that's not supposed to be there. It holds, and it holds, and it holds, and you're like, what the fuck is gonna happen? What is happening? And then thing happens. It's like, oh shit, okay. There's several moments like that. So is it too slow-paced? No. But it is slow-paced to build the tension, which I guess we'll go to the hopes section and say, yes, it is tense in a lot of moments. Too dark visually? No. It's not. And I'm shocked. Because I heard people like, oh, it's all shot in dark rooms and all this. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna have to turn... I literally turned off every light in my room and sat in darkness because I didn't want to see the black mirror that was about to happen, right? So, I thought that's what was gonna happen, but no, everything is shot visually very well. I don't know how he did it, actually. I have no idea what they did. I don't know if Kyle Edward Ball did it. He wrote it and directed, but I don't know if he was... I don't know if that's what a director does. He sets up what the scene looks like. I'm not a filmmaker, so I can't be like, oh, he did a bang-up job. Whoever did a good job, but it's like... almost like a day for night shot, if you're familiar with that phrase, where they'll... It's like bad, like... I'm gonna steal a term from Brad, the cinema snob. It's shot on Shitio, where it's just a bad VHS movie, like below C-tier horror, but it shoots during the daytime because, oh, we don't have lights and we can't shoot it any other time. So it'll shoot it during the day, and then it'll just like crank the color schemes in a way where the sun is not lighting up the sky, but is a darkened sky. It's very bad looking. In this, it's kind of like that, where it is a blue glow anytime we're in darkness. Like, not like night vision, but it looks good, and I don't know how the hell they did it. So is it too dark? No, and in fact, there's a lot of light in this movie, so there's that. Confusing? In what terms, in what aspect? No, I'll say no, kinda, but not really, because stuff happens and you go, wait, huh? And then something pops up at the end, you go, what the fuck does that mean? So yeah, I guess it's confusing in like it's up to your own interpretation, I guess is what we'll say. We went over it is tense in a lot of moments. Dramatic? No, not really. Thing happens, you go, oh, okay, there's not a lot of built up drama that happens. Uses shadows well. That's the half. That's the 0.5 that I said in this section. I said you get a lot of mileage out of hiding something just barely visible in the darkness. It doesn't do that, but the darkness is so abundant in the first, God, what, 2-3 minutes? It's you get very used to like just static or flat image. What did I say before? Fixed image, that's it. Fixed image on thing for a long time. My eyes started to bug out. I'm like, are things actually moving? Or are my eyes just playing tricks on me because it's focused on the darkness and things look like they could be moving? So it uses the darkness very well, it's just not in the way I thought it would or I had hoped it would. So there's that. I liked it. I don't hate myself for watching it. Right? That's kind of what I go with on this. Like, did I hate this movie? No, I don't regret watching it. There's a lot of it that I really did love. But like I said, there's a lot that I can see why people don't like it. This is not everybody's cup of tea. This is literally, what is the phrase? Somebody used a phrase on the Shudder review. Somebody used a phrase. It's like, I think, I'm checking, hold on. Okay, I can't find it, but let's just go through some of these. Yeah, somebody just says, not for everyone. That is this movie. That is this movie. Someone says, the touchstone of a polarizing film. Yeah, that's what it is. It's not for everyone. It's not gonna be everybody's cup of tea. So I can't even sit here and be like, oh, you should watch it, you should give it a try. It's not like Late Night with the Devil where I said, oh, you get past the first 10 minutes or so, or you skip the first 10 minutes or so right into when the show starts, and you'll enjoy it. I can't say that for this movie. I can't really say that I wholeheartedly recommend this movie. I enjoyed it, but I'm sitting here being like, what do I talk about next? How do I go through my notes and go, yes, let's talk about this, let's talk about that? I don't know. So I think the best course of action is to hit some key points, right? Go through and what's relevant to the plot, right? I think I've narrowed my list down pretty well, like my notes, right? So we start up right away. It tells us 1995. That's when the movie takes place. Okay, you can kind of tell a lot of CRT TVs around, little big old bulb TVs. Pretty nice house, pretty nice looking house. A lot of wood panel, pretty sweet. 2 kids, dark hallway. Copy and paste that line a billion times. That's a lot of the scenes. Kid, dark hallway, check. Add a 3rd or 4th thing in there, and you got a new scene. They're looking for dad for some reason. Thing happens. Then kid in hallway again, you know. But he's looking down a spiral staircase. We will come to know him as Kevin. He's looking down a spiral staircase and he asks, "Are you hiding?" Don't know who he's talking to, but it does come up on the screen as a subtitle. I didn't put the subtitles on yet. I do later on. But it's like faint white text on screen. Are you hiding? Alright, don't know who he's talking to, but alright. I think the big thing to take away is, one, everything that is shot in this movie is from kid height. Nothing is shot from above a desk level, I guess is what we'll say. Like the desk I'm currently sitting at that is holding the screen I'm looking at currently reading my notes is higher up than most of the camera shots. And I think that's purposeful because it gives you a sense of scale and a sense of, oh, that's where the child, right? Kind of like, oh, we're the 3rd kid here. But also the subtitles that are actually on the screen, not actual subtitles, probably need to pay attention to because they're probably the most important. But we get an inaudible demon whisper, and then bang, crash, zoom, bam, thud. Every light in the house goes on. We hear a child, assuming Kevin, crying his eyes out, doors slamming, lots of commotion, lots of slow pans towards walls. make you feel uneasy. Like I said, very paranormal activity. Dad comes out of his, wherever the hell his sleeping chamber is. Go, Kaylee? Kaylee! And this is the moment where I had to turn on subtitles because everybody talks like they're making ASMR. Oh, I was gonna say, are you getting tingles? But I couldn't fucking not laugh. So everybody talks like this in hushed whispers and tones. Are you tingling yet, Dad? I can't wait to see the audio readout of this. That's gonna be fucking hilarious. But everybody talks in such a whispered and hushed tone that I'm partially deaf. It's hard to hear that shit. I had spoilers. I had the volume cranked all the way up for this one. Bad move, me, because jump scares happened in this movie I was not aware of. But I had to turn on subtitles, and they're the types of subtitles that like if you're playing a video game and you turn on subtitles and you turn on environmental subtitles, and it'll just tell you things that are happening in the background, like Borderlands 3 is the best because you'll be doing something, your character will say something, the character you're fighting says something, and then you just see a subtitle, explosive barrel explodes. That's what the subtitles on Shudder do. So a lot of the, if I show any clips, like, again, it's gonna be hard to kind of describe what's happening and show clips. At least up until a certain point in the movie where it's just like, all right, everything needs to be talked about because everything happens. But you'll see a little music note somewhere on the screen denoting there's music happening. But phone call, Dad calls someone. We do not know who he called, but I can guess probably Mom. Right, probably Mom, for a reason we'll get into a little bit. But he calls somebody, he says,
so he's fine, but Kevin fell down the stairs and hit his head. No, they didn't even need to do stitches. Kaylee says he was sleepwalking.
I call bullshit. He fell down a spiral staircase. Yeah, we heard him like screaming in pain and crying. But there's no way he just bumped his head a little bit. I don't believe that, and I got some theories later on. But then a little later on, things start to get weird almost instantly. Like there's eerie noise, an eerie tone. Subtitles say that, but it's like a weird tone starts to play. And it's kind of a sense that things are changing in the house, not for the better. Kaylee starts looking for Dad, and it's a kind of an ongoing thing through a lot of the first half of the movie. She's looking for Dad. She's going, Dad. Like, there's a lot of that. She wakes up Kevin, who is already home. I guess it was just a bump on the head. All right. But then they go to open some window blinds and find no window. And they ask, rightfully so, where'd they go? Kaylee they keep looking for Dad. Dad is gone. Don't know why. Kevin then says, can we sleep downstairs tonight? Slumber party in the living room. That's why most of the movie takes place on the first floor, the ground floor in the living room. All right, cool. A little bit later, or a lot of bit later. There's a lot in this movie. We get an adorable scene that is absolutely heart-wrenching now that I've seen the entire movie.
Love you. Love you too.
Oh my god, it's so adorable. It's such a great scene and heartbreaking at the same time. Then she says, Kev, it's time to wake up. Huh? What? Alright. Things happen. And then she says, I'm gonna go upstairs and get some stuff. Bad idea, kiddo. Bad idea, kiddo. I wrote down in my notes, Dad is still gone because she keeps, Dad! Dad! It's like, okay, where is Dad? But what about Mom? We get that a little bit later. All throughout this movie, cartoons play. They even say in the intro, like, yeah, all cartoons are fair use. Fuck off, copyright users. Fuck off. They don't say that. I say that because fuck off, Sony. It's the best thing I could say. Cartoons are used throughout a lot of this and they're very symbolic. That's my guess. There's symbolism behind what we're hearing and what we're seeing. It can't be a coincidence. Like in this one scene, the song that's playing says, "I see you somewhere in dreamland." Very ominous. Very maybe foreshadowy. I don't know. But it can't be a coincidence, is what I'm getting at. Kid stares in dark hallway. Tale as old as time. But she asks, why is mom crying? That's a very good question, kiddo. I guess we'll kind of get to that in a little bit. One of them asks, how come no one's come yet? I don't know. Answers one of them. One of them asks, where do you think Dad is? Pretty good question. The other one says, I don't know. Maybe he went with Mom. Okay. And then I think it's Kaylee answers, I don't want to talk about Mom. Okay, why? You've got me interested. You've got my attention. You've got my intrigue here. I'm kind of hooked at this point, going, okay, what's gonna happen? And then, stuff happens, and then we get a POV shot. This is the shot I was talking about before, where it built up suspense and tension. She walks upstairs, she walks in a room. We see a doll sitting on a bed. Nothing else, just a doll on some comforters. And the camera pans around the room, to the wall, and then eventually up to the ceiling. And we see something, I don't know what it is, it might have been a teacup, I'm not entirely sure. But it falls, she gets to go, oh. She says something. And then the camera keeps panning until we see what I'm assuming is the same doll we just saw on the bed. Now it's on the ceiling. Like, that's a good shot. Right? That's good imagery of, like, that doll we just saw on the bed. Well, now it's on the ceiling, and it didn't make a noise, nothing happened, nothing special happened. We didn't hear a boom, an eerie tone, nothing like that. Okay, cool. We hold on the doll for a long time, what feels like an eternity, but, more likely it's like maybe 10, 15 seconds. And then Kevin makes me shit my pants. We have a clip. Oh my god.
Troy.
Fuck you, Kevin. What? Would be my reaction too. Yeah, that thing of how I said, oh, my volume was cranked for this movie? Yeah, that's part number one. Didn't pan out well for me. Kaylee, very great, goes, what? And Kevin says, I got scared and couldn't go. So we then cut to a bathroom with no toilets. 2 buckets slide into frame. Gross. Well, you gotta do what you gotta do, Kev, man. Come on. A little bit later, sometime later, a strange voice calls for Kaylee. Says, come upstairs. Fuck that. Of course she does it. Why wouldn't she? This is the part of the movie, it's the best scene. Because I hate it in the best possible way. Right? You get those moments in certain things where like, I hate this, but you're saying that, or I say it only because I love what's happening, right? The Beneviento Manor in Resident Evil Village, going through that with the lights out, going, I hate this, man. I hate this, what's happened, I hate this, but you still push through because you're engaged, you're interesting. But it's a POV walkthrough into a dark corridor, through a dark corridor, into a dark room. Copy, paste that all over this. She says, Dad? He's here. He's sitting on the edge of the bed. You don't see his face, you see the back of him. Like, you can clearly see somebody is sitting on the bed, facing the wall. He says, look under the bed. Fuck that. Of course she looks under the bed. She says she can't see anything, so she pops her head up, says, I can't see anything, and then she looks again. Still nothing. I'm like, oh my god, what's gonna be under the bed? What is happening? A lot of tension. Still nothing, though. She looks up. Dad is gone. He has disappeared. No noise. Everything is silent. But Mom is sitting on the other side of the bed. You can see her back to you. Long hair. She's staring at the wall. Okay. What is happening? And then she says,
Your father. Love you very much.
and it holds on her for a long time, just sitting there. And it's like, what? It's just building that tension, that anxiety, like, what is happening? She just gives you the creeps. She says, I need you to close your eyes. Please. Kaylee does. She opens them, and Mom is nowhere to be seen. We get a lot of creaking noises, and as the subtitles say, muffled sobs, as Kaylee pans from where Mom was sitting to, I say Kaylee, but it's, you know, it's POV shot, you get it, to the door, which is kind of open. It looks like it's kind of open. I think it's at least the door leading to outside. I'm not too sure though. Maybe it's a closet. I don't know. But a strange voice says,
There's someone here.
Mom then says, Kaylee, go back downstairs, okay? And then it is heavily, and I mean heavily, to the point where the only way it's implied is that we don't see it happen, but it's heavily implied that Mom took her own life. We don't know why. There's nothing around it. I could guess, and I'll probably bring it up if I remember at the end when we're through this. But we hear a loud crack, like a bone snapping, and then we hear Mom, as the subtitles say, moan softly, and more cracking sounds before silence for a few seconds, and a loud squeal and a smash cut back to the living room, and then stuff continues from there. It is a very good scene. Probably my favorite scene out of the entire movie, because it is a long scene, takes its time, but it delivers on every moment. I love this scene. It is really, really good. Sometime later, things happen. They have like a little meet up in the living room. They exchange questions and juice boxes. Then we hear nothing, silence, and then Kevin, out of breath, I think is the best way to describe it, because he's breathing very heavily. And he calls out for Kaylee. And he keeps calling for Kaylee, but there's no response. And then another strange voice. Never explain what these strange voices are. We kind of get a hint at the end, but then again, there's nothing really concrete. It's all left up to interpretation. But the strange voice says, Kevin, come to the basement. Fuck that. Of course he goes to the basement. He didn't even bring his flashlight, so Kevin learned nothing. But he slow walk down the stairs. He's looking around. And then we hear Kaylee in a muffled tone. That's me saying that, not the subtitles, or maybe the subtitles said it too. But she's very clearly on the other side of a wall in the basement. She's calling for Kevin, and she sounds like she's crying. She says, I'm scared. I feel strange. I just simply wrote down, what the fuck does that mean? We've seen some weird things in this. What do you mean you feel strange? We cut to her sitting in the dark. She's sitting crisscross applesauce, sitting there. And again, it takes its time setting up the shot, and then smash cut to her face. She has no mouth and no eyes. And it's not like, oh, they're removed, it's black, but no, it's like covered over with like skin. Creepy. Very well done creepy visual. And this where everything kind of starts to ramp up to 1,000. Because Kevin, rightfully so, runs up the stairs in a panic, is out of breath, and he gets a juice box. You can hear him climb up the step ladder. And the only way you know it's a juice box is because a demon, I'm gonna start referring to them as demons because, oh, strange voice. No, it's a fucking demon, my dudes. It's a demon. Calls out for Kevin. To which Kevin, dumbass, no survival instincts, says, hello? Don't answer the demon. Kevin, don't answer the demon. And then a different, lower demon voice for Kevin says, Kevin, his juice box goes flying. This is how we know it's a juice box. Goes flying. This is where, again, that whole cartoon thing starts to come back into play because we get a long shot on the TV. It's playing, I think the cartoon's called Presto Changeo. I think that's what it's called. I'm not too sure. But it starts to glitch and the same scene of a rabbit doing magic, a disappearing act, repeats over and over and over again. Kevin is alive. We can hear him. And then an even deeper demon voice calls out to him saying, I want to play. And he really wants to play because he's very loud. He's chucking toys all around. And we hear Kevin is breathing very heavily now. Scared shitless, no doubt. He's sitting on the floor. Another demon voice calls for him, and we hear toys being moved and what sounds like Kevin crying. And oh, how do I describe this next scene? The only way I can describe this is the most absolutely heartbreaking moment of the movie. Like, the moment that it happens, you go, oh shit. And then the follow-up, it's just like, oh my god, it's my heart. What the fuck, man? What the fuck is your name? Not Kevin. Kyle Edward Ball. My god, dude, props. Big ups. Big ups to you, big props, man. Because I was not expecting this to hit me, like, in the feels at all. So, kudos to you. Oh, man. We hear a utility knife clicking, you know, one of those X-Acto blades, a click, 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 those things. We hear it clicking, and the subtitles say utility knife clicking, so that's how we know what it is. If you've worked in, like, not construction, but like an area where things are worked on, you know that, like, oh, disposable X-Acto knife? Yeah, okay. The demon then, we hear that, and the demon tells Kevin to put the knife in your eye, and I'll put the footage up like I normally do, just so you can see what it is. It's not edited in any way. We get a quick cut of maybe a handful of frames of Kevin sitting on the ground, gasping, and then we hear him cry in the distance. And then we cut to the hallway where he was, and we hear him screaming and crying in pain, and then nothing. Silence. We cut to a pitch black to a cabinet with blood on it. Good lord, this scene. And then the demon says, wake up. Demon wants him to wake up, because of course, why would the demon let the child fucking be? We can hear him breathing as he gets up, very shallow, very shaky. He, assumingly, we don't see any of it, stabbed out his eye. A couple other things happen, like the shot of the back of somebody's head that I don't think it's Kevin, but might be Kevin, I don't know. The phone is knocked off the hook and it works. There's a dial tone. And we hear Kevin call 911, and it's where this scene becomes absolutely heartbreaking. Because the stuff they say, it's like, oh my god, I can't imagine, like, doing this in real life. That's where my brain went, like, answering the phone and hearing, like, a child be like, I'm hurt.
I hurt myself and I feel sick.
Oh my god, I can't, man. But he gives his details, and they ask him, why are you whispering? Is there somebody else in the room? We don't hear the answer to that, but he says, yeah, I'm upstairs, but the doors are gone. And then he just drops the phone. And like, cause all through it, the operator's like, stay on the line, you know? Hey, you're gonna get through this, sweetie. You're gonna be a big guy and stay on. It's like the protocol, right? I'm imagining the protocol of dealing with something like this. So they either have experience with this stuff or they did their research. Either way, great job. He then asks somebody, you did that? No idea who he's talking to. And then we hear a demon laugh in the distance. So probably the demon that's laughing at him. Another strange voice calls to Kevin. Very weird scene where a static noise, like of a TV screen, like the shh, that noise, ramps up in volume and then cuts out immediately. Just nothing, just silence. Kevin then asks the demon how he did what he did, and the demon then answers, the demon then says, Kevin, come upstairs. You know the drill by now. He goes upstairs. Demon says, it's okay. I will protect you. Bullshit. The hallway is flipped upside down. Kevin is now crawling on the ceiling or walking on the ceiling. The demon coaxes him, keep going, keep going. Kevin asks a good question. Can I go back now? We're then on like an upside down, what looks like a castle or a house, and like just completely in ruin. And then the not subtitle, but title card kind of thing of 572 days. I don't know what that implies. I'm not going to try to speculate what that implies. Has Kevin been here for 572 days? Is this, that, or the other thing? No idea. Not really elaborated on. Your guess is as good as mine. And then another cartoon. Again, can't be coincidence. Has to be for a reason. The song starts with, I don't have to worry. I don't have to care. That's got to mean something, right? We then cut to someone sitting on a bed. Kaylee or mom, maybe. No idea. But whoever it was faded from existence. They just got Thanos snapped out of thin air. We cut to flashlight clicking on and off, searching various rooms until we see eyes in the darkness. Got a bit of a jump scare out of me because like, oh fuck, eyes, what the hell? Flashlight turns on. It's the toy phone everybody uses as a thumbnail when they talk about this movie. You know, the one with the nose. It then it got me. It then stares at the camera and rings very loudly. Fuck off. Deafening. We get more unintelligible whispers, lots of photos of faceless people, and then for some reason we hear a child crying, and then some blood splatter, and a monster growl, and then a lot of blood. This repeats a few times. We get a high-pitched voice call out for mommy. I'm assuming it's Kevin. And then Kevin calls out for Kaylee. He asks, can we watch something happy? And then some more panning shots and dissolve shots. Till eventually get to a pale face, who must be Kenta because he tells us to go to sleep. Kevin, I'm assuming it's Kevin, but a child asks him his name. He then asks, what's your name? Gets extremely uncomfortable. The face fades and then end. That is Skinamarink. That's the best way I can do it. I've had to take a lot of pauses, just reading my notes, being like, okay, what do I keep in? What do I keep out? I don't know how long this is gonna be. I don't know if there's some stuff I'll edit out of what I actually read. I have no idea because, again, I don't know how to review this movie. Because every other movie we've done so far on this show, yeah, it's okay, it's been 3 movies, but at least it's like, okay, this happens, and then we go to this, and then this happens. Whoa, this happened. Holy shit. Art sawed a woman in half. Holy shit. Yo, fucking David Desmalchin kicked ass. I love Carmichael. He's such a crazy guy. This is very much an art house flick. It's very slow, very methodical. It's an hour and 40 minutes, and it takes its sweet-ass time getting from one section to another, but it's deliberately done so. I enjoyed it. I don't, like, there's not a lot I can be like, oh, I hated this, I hated that. I can't really pick out what I hate about it, what I don't like about it. I like all of it, actually. Yeah, if I had to give it a rating, 7 out of 10. I know I just gave it a glowing review there. I'd be like, oh man, I did like it. I don't hate it. I liked a lot of it. But it's just a solid 7 out of 10, I think. It's a solid B+ flick. That's where I'm sitting right here. And yeah, man, that was Skinamarink. I'm glad I did watch it to see what all the hullabaloo was. Because everybody's like, yo, it's the best movie. It's the worst movie. It is getting... What is it on Rotten Tomatoes? I'm curious. I'm very curious of, like... What its score is. Yeah, Skinamarink. Oh, no, I don't care about your ads. Shut up. Shut the fuck up. It's the tomatometer is 73%, with the popcometer. Fuck, that's stupid. That is really stupid. The audience score is now the popcometer or popcorn meter. Shut up. Shut up. You're stupid. Shut up. It's 44%. So it is a 50-50 down the middle. Yeah, that's yeah, that's basically it. It is a 7 out of 10 for me. So that shaky, probably the most shaky review I will ever do, just because, again, I still don't. I reviewed it. I said what I said. I don't know how to review this movie. No idea. OBS is saying like 30-something minutes. I have no idea if that's what the final section of this will be. No idea. But I do know that will conclude this episode of Ognars. Let me know what you thought about today's feature presentation if you did watch it. Let me know. And until our next available showtime, goodbye.
Let's all go to the lobby. Go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a